Where do you see the creator economy going? And also would love to have you touch on, for yourself as the CEO of a product company, how can influencers better serve the brands that they work with in regards to those that take on deals marketing a product? Like, what are some things that you've dealt with influencers that are good and bad? And also, after that, where do you see this thing going? Like, for creators, how can they really make a lot of money going forward, especially working with brands like you?
Yeah, no, good question. It's what happened is that attention is their currency, is a currency today. It's a big one. But that was usually centralized. So if you're not Fox, CNN, CNBC, if you don't have centralized attention, those are the guys that, they still make the big bucks, but those are the guys that had it. It wasn't, 20 years ago, 30 years ago for sure, but like 20, even 10 years ago, very difficult to think of, kids nowadays, 6, 7-year-olds, you go, what do you want to be when you grow up? They say, I want to be an esports millionaire. You're like, honestly, great idea. Like, honestly, yeah, you could, because that was a joke back in the day.
Fortnite to make $1 million.
Yeah. They had like game testers, right? You could be a game tester, but not Mr. Beast. Like, what? Like, that's actually, so now, like, I love hearing that. In the beginning, I was like, well, that's new. It's like, that's exciting. And now I hear it so often, I go, you know what? That makes total sense. I want to be a food blogger, and I want to have a line of non-stick pans. Yeah, that's actually dope. Like, that sounds great. What are you going to cook? Oh, I was thinking of doing Dutch recipes because there's a niche for that. Sounds great. Honestly, like, it really, that could work. Like, that could work. And the more niche you are, sometimes you get paid a little bit more money, because if you're the number one, Dutch recipe non-stick pan company, as an example, I don't know if that's a thing, but you can actually demand more, because as a brand, we're looking at all kinds of stuff now, and with the tools that are available, we can see which engagement's real and all this stuff. And I would say, figure out your authentic niche. I mean, even if it's a character you're playing, but like, figure out what that area is, because those people, if you're just a general influencer, unless you're like big, it's difficult to kind of put you in a box. Sorry to say that, but as a brand, we're looking for all the tools make it like this. Click beauty, click cooking. Like, you have to choose who you're looking for. So think about, where do I start? You can always expand. I mean, Snow started with one product. We have 60 SKUs in the line: toothbrushes, toothpaste, all kinds of stuff, right? You got to start somewhere. Start with one. And I didn't launch a second product for like 2 years. And it was a wireless version of the wired system. So it was the same thing, but wireless, versus like 50 products overnight, right? So you can always expand. You don't have to feel like you're totally boxed in. And I think on the creator side, like, we've spent probably at least tens of millions of dollars just on the Snow brand, on influencers, celebrities, all kinds of stuff. What I found now is that we like to do a lot of micro, nano influencer stuff. It's very authentic. You get more of the community involved. Brands like Fashion Nova, Bang Energy, they go very wide with their influencer reach. And if you have a product like an energy drink or clothes or toothpaste, you can go pretty wide. So it depends on your business, but I think on a creator side, follow through is a big deal, man. Follow through is a big deal, and it's interesting because now anybody, right? Anybody can honestly make at least a side income, a few $100 a month if you stay consistent, you create content, and the platforms, remember, you work for them, and so not directly, but they, like I said, they make tens of billions because they figured out how to do none of the work. And they said, what if we had 1 billion people and we just gave them likes and juice the algorithm a little bit, get them hooked? It's one of the deadly sins. We can't help ourselves, vanity. And so let's as soon as James posts his first video on TikTok, juice it. So they juice it. Just like when I go to a coffee shop, Dutch Bros, they gave me this card. You get 10 coffee, you buy 10 coffees, you get one free. They always give me 4 on the first coffee. And you're like, that's awesome, thank you. And stats show, I looked it up after that, and it shows like it's 50% or whatever, some crazy amount higher that you're gonna complete that. Now has a value attached to it. So when you join TikTok, and you go, I got 400,000 or 4,000 likes on Instagram, I barely get 400. You said, now I'm going to produce more for this. So they exchange engagement and what it feels like to be engaged with online to not pay you for the content, essentially, right? So you got to understand that. And so it's important to be consistent, follow through. I mean, if we get at this point, any influencer doesn't follow through, they're out. I mean, it's not good. And word gets out after a while. There's so many people that, it's hard to police everyone, but we certainly won't work with you again if you don't follow through. And I think that's been our biggest issue is communication, because they become business people overnight, right? Like you have a video go viral, then you got some brand deals come into your inbox, and then you're like asking your brother or sister, be my manager, and like respond to this email on Gmail. And back in the days, 2014, 2015, it was Wild West on Instagram still, and even the celebrities were managing their own Instagram. It wasn't on the menu. It was like, you got to talk to them directly. I don't know if they're going to do that. But that was when Instagram was, their algorithm was on fire, and now it's TikTok and YouTube Shorts and other stuff. And Instagram's still crushing it, but that's how it works. And so I think from a creator perspective, I think it's beautiful. It's decentralized and democratized the value of the currency, which is attention, and you can be an attention dealer. And what type of attention do you have? What type of ice cream do you have, right? And you go, I have men who hunt but not fish, and they love eating cheeseburgers. Like you could really, and you're like, oh, that's actually, you got a lot of people there you can sell ads to, right? So it's beautiful, because instead of just going to one big TV network and just running an ad on the TV and hoping that enough people see it, like if you sold something to just older women, like it's very difficult to reach the audience, or men who are unemployed for more than 6 months. Like how would you really target those people, right? So I think creators, it's only going to go up from here. It's only going to get more advanced, and more people will be generating side incomes from it. I think it's beautiful. I think there's some toxic aspects to it. We can talk about that for hours, but I don't know enough about it to even go there. But I just know that there is an exchange of that, but I think it's going to be, it's just going to keep growing. I mean, 5 billion, 10 billion, 20 billion, it's just going to keep growing.
I just had a quick follow-up before, when you said follow through for creators.
Yeah.
Do you mean just getting back the emails, following through on a good post?
Man, when there's some good ones, man, where and these are people with 10,000 followers. It's not like they're, and they are so good. And some people with millions of followers say, hey, I got the package today, love the packaging, can't wait to make the video. Here's some examples. You don't have to necessarily over communicate, but just normal communication. Thank you, I received the package, I'll be getting to it, and then actually do it. Because what happens is that the package sits there and I got to do this brand deal, and I want to do something else. I want something else, whatever. And you lose track of it. And then now I'm sitting there as the brand owner for 7 days, and I'm like, dude, what's going on? You know what? Cancel the contract. We're not working with you anymore. So just knock it out. It takes 5 minutes or however long it takes. Do it. You've already committed to it. And I think that's just a principle. I mean, that's just, you got to live with that and know that you told someone you were going to do something and you didn't do it because you were lazy or wanted to watch TV or had something else going on. Knock out the video, respond to the emails, give feedback if you're able to. You don't have to go crazy. Spend 2 minutes. Got the package, can't wait to film tomorrow. That'd be huge. And our influencer team watches all of that stuff. We track every single response. We grade the influencers on how well did we work with them, in addition to how did their content perform. But if we work with some people we work with for years, because they're just always on it. I can rely on them to create different angles on ads tomorrow. They'll do it tomorrow morning on a weekend. It doesn't matter, because I know I can trust them, and those are the people I'm going to give the budgets to. Those are the people I'm going to focus on. And those are the people that get recruited by some of the early snow influencers and stuff like that. I go on websites all the time. I was just on Lululemon, and I saw one of our early influencers on there on the front page of Lululemon. They end up getting picked up. Now, it's not because of snow necessarily. It's just because they see the consistency, and then because they're great people and they respond. So the cream will rise to the top. And so if you can at least teach yourself, make yourself accountable, it goes such a long way, because people are very, unfortunately, unprofessional in that aspect. And a brand like Snow just isn't going to deal with that. Most brands are not even going to touch you at that point.